Hey guys, Jay Price here with another video. So finally we have a way to get Keepa data into Google Sheets and to use that data dynamically. And it is my hope in this video today to show you two separate use cases how we can use this data to make better buying decisions and replenishing decisions overall for our Amazon businesses. So with that being said, let's get started. I'll make myself smaller. That way I'm not taking up so much of the screen. Who wants to see my ugly mug anyway? All right, so this is Gkeepa, guys. If you aren't familiar with this, watch the other videos where I explain just some of the basic principles of getting the Keepa and getting it into Sheets, getting it set up and stuff like that. Um, but what I have here today is a lead list. And so for the first use case is going to be, okay, well, the lead list provider is saying the selling price is this. Let's look at some historical data maybe or some current data, depending on how old the lead list is or when we're getting around to looking at it and to see if we can better make some buying decisions. So here's what I mean. So I've blocked out the ASINs. These ASINs are from 11/17, so yesterday. I don't want to spoil these for anyone. But what I'm going to do is we'll just copy the ASIN. We're going to put it in our product tab, and we're going to get new product information. And this will go to Keepa. It will pull the ASIN. I probably should block out these UPCs too. Um, Give me one sec. I'll just block those out. All right, so it will go to Keepa and it will pull all current information that at least that Keepa has. It'll also pull some historical information. And so you're saying, well, Jay, this is on the other tab. How can I get it on the other tab? I'm glad you asked that question. So what we're gonna do, let's just say we want the buy box, right? We want the current buy box and we want the 90-day buy box information. The current is in column N, and the 90-day buy box is in column O. You can see the references up here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our lead list, and we're gonna say, well, let's just be lazy. Let's just copy these, and we're going to paste them by matching destination formatting. No, that was supposed to work out that way. I don't know what I copied. Let's go back and do that again. So copy, lead list. There we go. That's much better. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull over those figures. And there's a custom function built into Ghee-pah that's spelled just like Ghee-pah is spelled. And so by custom function, I mean you have to do the equal sign, and we'll do Ghee-pah open parentheses, and then we're just going to arrow over to our ASIN, which is in column C, row 2, and then we're going to make the cell reference for the ASIN. And then from there, we're going to do a comma followed by an open quote. And in Sheets, whenever you make a column reference, that letter that you're referencing for the column has to be capitalized. And so we know that the current buy box information on our products tab is in column N. So we're going to do a capital N, close our quote, and then close our bracket, and then hit enter, and it'll pull that over. And so what this means is that the current buy box, has been suppressed. Well, um, the lead list provider is saying, okay, well, it's still, we estimate a selling price of $54. Well, let's just see. Let's pull in the 90-day buy box. Well, we can do equals, then Keepa, same thing, reference our cell. And we know that one was in column O on the products tab. So we'll do a capital O, close our quotes, if I can type, close our parentheses and hit enter, and it'll pull that over. So then we could say, okay, well, that may change some figures here, right? So let's pull this down. Let's pull our 90-day buy box down, just like we would any other formula. And you have to give it a minute to port all these over, and we can even do it for our current buy box. And so from here, we can make some estimates, right? So we could say, well, let's do our own net profit and ROI calculations. We can say, okay, I want our net profit. We're going to back it out all the way for us, right? So let's just say we want to figure based off of the 90-day buy box, which incorporates more data. Um, some people want to use the current, some people want to use historical pricing. I tend to fall in the camp of using historical pricing usually. And so I'm going to use the 90-day buy box information. So I'm going to say my net profit is going to equal the 90-day buy box um, minus my buy cost, which is here. And then for fees, we have to get our fees. Well, we have those in Keepa. And so we can actually just click that tab and then say, you know what, I need to minus. Um, well, first, there's two ways we can do this. One, since we know that they're in the same order, right? So these ASINs are in the same order as the ASINs on our lead list. We can make a direct reference to those cells. Or what we can also do is just pull that information in using the custom Gkeepa function onto the other tab. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to reference the pick and pack fee, and then I'm going to reference our category referral fee, and then I'm also going to reference our inbound shipping. And this is based off of, and this may be a point of contention amongst some sellers, but I don't use dimensional weight when I'm looking at inbound shipping, and I'll tell you why. Inbound weight is an isolated number based off of the product's weight and dimensions. But that's not what we end up paying when we put a bunch of those products in a box and then ship it in. It's very different. And so I just use based off the product's weight and whatever we put in our setup tab, which is referenced over here for inbound shipping. So for me, it's 50 cents. So I'm going to use inbound shipping. And then I can even say, okay, you know what? There's a fuel surcharge right now based off of the pick and pack fee. So I'm going to use that as well and then hit enter. So then I'll get my true net profit of $1.80. And again, since I know that these ASINs on this are in the same order as these ASINs here, I can pull that data down. I can pull that formula down and have it update dynamically. And then once I know the net profit, determine the ROI is just a simple um, division step. So it's net ROI is net profit divided by your investment, otherwise your buy cost. Hit enter, autofill that. We're going to format this to be a percentage. And then we have our true, at least based off of metrics that we want to base these off of. And so how is this beneficial? Well, one, it can save you time. It saves you time by instead of clicking through all of these here just to find out that they don't work for you, you can base the information based off of the whatever sell price you want to base it off of. And it saves you time that way. Two, it may make some that you normally wouldn't look at. It may make them so like you know what, let's just look at one. So this is let's say you have a minimum threshold of 50% ROI. Well, according to this data, uh, the lead list provider is saying 40% ROI, but when we base it off the 90-day buy box, this is saying an 80% ROI based off the 90-day. And so um, it can make stuff that you don't normally look at good again, or not good again, but just in a different light. And so that's why I like to do that. What about another example? So that's using it to do current lead list analysis using current Keepa data or historical. What about your replens? Well, I just slapped together this replen sheet. And what we have here, we have a list of ASINs, and these are old. I don't care if you guys see these or not. Um, we have a list of ASINs here, and we need to get some data for them. So we're going to copy them. We're going to put those on our products tab. That is the bottom. And we're going to get new product information. And I think it's like 50 ASINs here, so it may take a little bit to run. But once it finishes, we will, and you can see it. When I say a little bit, I mean like probably under 30 seconds is what I'm going to estimate. Um, but what we're going to do is we're going to come back over here and we're going to, based off of our original buy cost, come up with some metrics that we can use. And so one of the things that I'm going to end up pulling in is I already know I want the current buy box and um, I want the 90-day buy box. I also want to know if Amazon's going to be on the listing as well. Actually, no. I'll show you guys a function that will make that easier to determine. So let's paste these here. So the script is finished running. It finished pulling all the information. Let's change this. I'm gonna move. I like to have the graph at the end. All right. So let's pull in our current and our 90-day buy box. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do equals Gkeepa, reference our ASIN, comma, open quotes, and we already know it's in column O for the current buy box. Close our quotes, close our bracket or our parentheses, and hit enter. And then we're going to do our, well, let's drag this down. Let's get this information over here. If only I can hold on to a mouse button. We got the heater in my warehouse fixed, so that's nice. All right, so then let's get our 90-day buy box. So let's say equals Keepa, followed by our cell reference, which is going to be in E2. You can either type it in or you can mouse over, doesn't matter. Comma, open our quotes, get our 90-day buy box, which was when, I forget the column, column O. Okay, stop playing games. All right, column O. And it has to be capitalized, remember, because we're making a column reference. So it'll pull that data over. I usually like to wait until it pulls it over before I drag it all down. All right. All right, so that'll load. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to pull the graph into here. We're going to pull the graph over that for these ASINs. And so we're going to say, okay, well, equals um, image. We have to do image, open bracket. And then we're going to reference, this is another special function in Ghee-pah to get the graph. And it's really, really complicated and difficult to remember. It's just graph. So just graph, graph, open your parentheses up, and then reference that ASIN that you want the graph for, and then close your parentheses, and then, oh no, I forgot another bracket. Oh no, okay, I did it. Or no, you're supposed to do two parentheses because you're making two separate arguments here, so you need two parentheses. But Sheets is smart enough to know that I'm a dummy, and they did it for me. And so you can see this tiny, little bitty graph right here, and that's really not usable. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this column to be the exact height and width that I want the graph to be. And so we're just going to hover over the whole column and activate the whole thing, and we're going to hit resize column. So you just right click, and then you'll hit resize. And we know that the width is going to be 600, and we know that the height is going to be 188. Resize, specify the row height is 188. And that's just the graph size that is hard coded in. And now you can see this data more clearly. And this is a 1 year chart. This is the 1 year chart. And if you wanted to, you could change. I know I mentioned this in other videos. You can change the chart that it references, but you would have to change this and then re-pull in the data. But for now, this is a 1 year chart, and this is a way that you can quickly see. Okay, is Amazon on this or not? All right, so now it's just a matter of simple fact of just pulling in our calculations. Excuse me, pulling in our information to determine our profitability. So I'm going to use that 90-day buy box. I'm going to subtract our current or my last known buy cost. Okay, yeah, subtract that, and then I'm going to subtract all the other relevant information. Now, this actually I can't do it this way, yeah, I can't do it this way because they're not going to be in order that they reference on the table. And so what I'm going to have to do is pull in those figures um, onto the table. So we need all of these. We need to pull those in. All right. So let's just do this one at a time. So TUVW. Did I get lucky? Okay. So that's gonna be easy. So equals Keepa, followed by our cell, which was I think E2. Our cell reference. Yep, E2. And then thankfully it's in the same uh column as so it's going to be in column T. So I'm going to get this all typed out. I'm not going to make you guys watch me type. I'll get this all typed out and I'll be back. All right, I fat fingered my way through it. We need to format these to be monies. At least that's how I like to do it. You don't have to. And then I'm just gonna if you highlight the rows that you want copied down, and then you double click on this corner, you double left click on it. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, we're just gonna drag those down. My hands are freezing. All right, so let's pull these down. All right, so I deleted the excess. Now it'll bring all those over, and now we can determine net profit based off of this row. So what we're gonna do is say net profit equals our sale price minus our buy cost, which is here, minus all of these fees, minus our pick and pack fee, minus our category referral fee, minus our inbound shipping cost, and then minus our special fuel surcharge. Hit enter. Oh boy. Oh, I have a minus at the end of it. All right, so it looks like I'm referencing everything that I need to. Hit enter. And then through the magic of sheets we have, it copied all the way down. And so let's do the same thing for our ROI, which is going to be a simple ROI is net profit divided by buy cost. And we want to convert this from dollars to percentages. And I only like 2 decimal points. Let's bring that down. So that worked that time. That's stupid. All right, so now what do we have here? Actually, I didn't bring this down either. Let's bring this down. Okay. All right. So now we have, and then we can even filter. Let's just see. We want to see the cream of the crop, right? Let me see which one that is. Here's the filter button right here. Create a filter, and let's just sort it by the highest ROI. So we're gonna sort Z to A. Give it a chance to load again, to bring this data over, and then what we can do. So now, and this is what I have. This is what I typically do. I will pull the data into a sheet, and then I'll give it to a VA to say, "Hey VA, go click these links. Let me know what the current buy box is, or let me know if the item is in stock from the retailer, and if it can be purchased, right?" And so what they'll start to do is say, "Okay, now that this is a dynamic feed now." And so let's just say, you know what, this was $13 then, but right now it's $16. Watch what happens. This automatically updates because the way we built the formula in. And so you can still easily see, you can get current prices and for replenishing, and you can see, okay, do I like this graph, do I not like this graph, and you can make some real-time decisions based off of this. Is Amazon dominating? Are they on the listing? And so that's it, guys. Those are 2 use cases for how Gkeepa can be used. If you have any questions, as always, hit me up at j@synchrotron.com, and happy sourcing.